So for this tutorial, I'll be marking on my pattern first, then I'll transfer to my fabric. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is to mark a straight line to serve as our starting point, and then from there I'm going to go ahead and mark my bust point. So for this style, you know that the gown is not fitted, so my bust point, I am using 10 inches for it. And then the length of this gown is of this top, sorry, is kind of a crop top, right? It's not a full top, so I'll be using 17 inches for it. Please do it to measure yourself to know where you want yours to be. So I'll go ahead and connect this line straight up, and also connect this one straight. So once we are done with that, we're going to go ahead and start inserting our measurement. For my shoulder measurement I'll be dividing my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I'll make a point there, and then I'll go ahead and add my sleeve length from that point that I just marked. I'll go ahead and add my sleeve length I'll be using 7 inches, but you can do more than this if you want your sleeve to be longer. Just take your measurement and then insert yours at the appropriate places. So this is it, and then from there I'm just going to go ahead and extend this line to meet up here. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and mark my round sleeve measurement. Remember, this round sleeve is not going to be a fitted round sleeve, so I'll go ahead and mark my normal round sleeve, and then I'll add 3 inches to it. So this is what we have, 3 plus 3 inches. So once I am done with that, we are going to go ahead and start our bust measurement divided by 4. Please do well to measure yours, and I'll also be adding 3 inches to it. These 3 inches include my stitching allowance and then allowance for ease. Then I'll go ahead and insert my waist measurement divided by 4 as well, and then I'll add 3 inches to it as well. So I'll go ahead and connect these points. So first off, I'll connect the waist measurement into the bust, and then we are going to go ahead and curve our armhole. So I'll place my ruler this way, and then I'll curve it into it. So this is what we have at this point. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark my neckline. For the width of my neckline, I am marking 3 inches by 1. So I forgot to mention that this is for the back bodies, 3 inches by 1, and then I'll connect this point. So we're going to be using this to mark our front bodies afterwards. And then for my shoulder slope, I'm going down by 1 inch at this point. I almost forgot that, and then I'll connect it into neckline. So for this round sleeve measurement, I almost forgot this shoulder slope. So this your round sleeve measurement is also supposed to start from here, so not here. Sorry about the mix-up. So it's supposed to start from here. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this 1 inch I took out from here at this point, and then I'll connect my armhole. I'm so sorry for the mix-up. So pay no attention to this. So this is our measurement at this point. So when you look at the style, you see that this place is not fitted. So that's why you have, like, it seems like it's looking so big. So that's the reason for it. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. Then we'll use it to cut out our front body. So guys, I use the same pattern to cut out another one. So at this point we have to, so I'm going to go ahead and arrange this well, and then so the lower one will be for our front pattern, but we're going to make some adjustments to it. So I'll trace out my neck width. So I'll just make a point there to know where my neck width is. I don't have to start remeasuring it again. Then from there, I'm going to go ahead and measure the length of the depth of my neckline. So this depth depends on how deep you want yours to be, but for me, for this purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be using 8 inches for my, and then from this point I'm going to be going in. So at this point I'm marking 1.5 inches. I'll mark it to the end, then I'll go ahead and connect this point, this 1.5 inches to get to the neckline. So this is the 8 inches neckline that you marked, right? Don't forget that is here. So I'll connect the points coming from the neckline onto that point. So this is it. This is what we have for the front neckline. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. So this is for the front, and then this is for the back. Then I'll go ahead and transfer this to our fabric. So while transferring this to our fabric, we're going to be adding 1/2 inch at this point to join the band. Don't forget, so the allowance we are adding for this is 1/2 inch here, and then 1/2 inch at the shoulder area, and then your hemming allowance if you've not added yours. But I said let me mention this because of the purpose of this tutorial. I've not added here, and here as well. I've transferred the pattern to my fabric. So this is what we have at this point. So the first thing we're doing, so this is for the back. You can see the back is closed, and then the front is, the center front is open. So the first thing we're going to be doing is to open this up, and then we are going to be doing front facing front, and then I'll go ahead and stitch down the 2 shoulders by 1/2 inch that we added. So guys, this is what we have at this point. You can see I've already stitched down the shoulder part. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to fold in our sleeve. So I'll be folding 1/2 inch and then fold over again. So don't forget to add your stitching allowance while cutting. I don't know if I mentioned that. Then I'll stitch down, and I'll do the same thing for this other side. So once we are done with that part, you're going to go ahead and measure from here all the way around the neckline onto this place. So that's what we're going to go ahead and measure now. So I'll start from one side of the top. I'll measure all the way to the back neckline, and then I'll turn onto the other side. I'll keep measuring until I get to the other side. So whatever I have there, I'm going to be adding about 2 inches to it, so that it's better that I be on a safer side than I have shortage of fabric. So I'll just add 2 inches to it, whatever I have there, and then I'll go ahead and cut a fabric for it. And then the width of it, remember we took out 1.5 inches for the measurement, and I believe you added 1/2 inch stitching allowance as you were cutting this fabric, right? So I'll be cutting out 2 inches width that we are going to be attaching. So the 1.5 inches we took out, and then 1/2 inch stitching allowance. So I'll cut out 2 inches for it, and then we're going to go ahead and attach this. So the length should be what we measured plus 2 inches, and then the width should be 2 inches. So guys, that 2 inches width that I mentioned earlier should be on fold. So if you open it up, it should be 4 inches. So it should be on fold this way, measuring 2 inches, right? I hope you get this now. So I've cut out my fabric now at this point. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is from the front side of this top, I'm going to go ahead and fold this piece into 2, and then I'll place it from the front side of this top. You know, the same way we measured it, the same way you're going to attach this. So you're going to stitch this down. You keep stitching it down all the way through the neckline and also onto the other side of the hem. So guys, this is what we have at this point. So for the armhole, I serged it. I'm going to be folding it in by 1/2 inch afterwards, but I just said let me serge it first and then continue with this tutorial. So this is what we have. You can see the front pattern of this. So by the time it's being ironed down, it looks completely laid together. So this is what we have at this point. I hope you guys can see it. So the next thing you're going to be doing is to turn this to the wrong side. Remember we took out 8 inches for the neck depth for the front part, right? Or whichever inches that you took out for yours. So you're going to measure from your shoulder line, from this stitch shoulder line downward by 8 inches. So once you get to that 8 inches, you're going to hold this front facing front, making sure that okay, let me cut out this excess here so that it's not confusing for us. So you're going to hold your center front together, making sure that the hem matches each other, and then from that 8 inches that you just marked, you're going to stitch down by very little allowance, something, if you can stitch less than 0.25, perfect, something very tiny from that 8 inches downward to the hem of this top. So guys, at this point, this is what we have at this point. So by the time you iron it down, it lays very flat. So this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to stitch down the 2 sides. From the side, you're going to do front facing front and stitch it down. So we're going to go ahead and cut out the pockets. So for the pocket, okay, first before the pockets, please go ahead and hem your top. So by the time you stitch down turn it to the wrong side, and then stitch down by your allowance you added, half inch, 1 inch, whichever allowance you added for your stitching. You stitch it down, then you go ahead and fold, stitch, hem your hem the top by folding this way, and then fold over again, stitch it down all around, right? So once you are done with that, we're going to go ahead and create the pocket. So I want to, by the time I leave this place, I'll do all these things and then come back. For this top, you know that this pocket, sorry, is more like the statement of this top, so you want to make it as long as possible. So I'm going to be adding extra, I'm making my as long as 7 inches or more, right? So I'll go ahead and measure, and then measure the width of it. So the width of it is from, if you're on the taller side, please increase the length of your pocket to about 8, 9, 10 inches. And then for the width of it, from the center front, or from this band, end of this band, you come in by half of an inch, and by 1.5 inches, sorry. And then from this side seam as well, you come out by 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and then measure the remaining part of this pocket. So you're going to go ahead and cut out the length of the pocket. For mine is 7 inches, and then the width, and measure mine as well. So guys, this is the pocket. So I'll go ahead and fold it this way to the front, and then I'll stitch down this side and also this side, so this place will be open so that we can be able to turn it and then attach it to the gown. So guys, this is what we have on the top. So I'll go ahead and turn this to the right side. So I haven't ironed this at this point. So this is the back, what it looks like, and then this is the front, looking pretty. Looking so pretty. So the next thing you're going to be doing is to bring in our pocket. I already turned it to the right side, so I'll fold it in by 1 inch or half of an inch, whichever that you added. So I'll fold it in, and then making sure I arrange it well so that this top here will align and be straight. So I'll place it this way, and then I'll attach it, and I'll do the same thing for this other side as well. I place it in, making sure that both of them are the same length, that I don't push in more than I did for the other one. And then I'll place it the same place with this one. I'll measure where I'm placing it and stitch it down. So that's it for this style. I hope you find value. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you do. Subscribe to my channel already, please, if you haven't subscribed. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to share to family and friends, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.